Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Jerry Hennelly. This is the Springfield SA35, and we're going to talk a little bit about this gun. First of all, I hate gun videos that don't include at least a little bit of shooting. In my situation, I'm having some problems with some video equipment, and so this is going to be one of those videos. I do have a shooting video of my first rounds out of the gun, and that's available on my YouTube channel. You can probably find it. So if you want to see those, my plan is to do a test and evaluation of about 1,000 rounds throughout the gun and capture as much of that on video as possible and give you my shooting impressions, and also just capture, what really happens to the gun. Now, my relationship with Springfield Armory is that of a customer. They didn't give me this gun. Nobody's paying for any ammo. Therefore, it gets pretty expensive for me. But I went and I bought this gun. I ordered it several months ago. It just came in. Just so you know, this one is mid 3000 serial number. So it's HP 3500 something. So it's a 4 serial number gun. The only reason I mention that is because some of the really well-known YouTube channels out there that deal with firearms, the firearm vlogs, they got really early, pre-production maybe, or very early production, examples to do their reviews on. And there were some problems that I had, seen in terms of extraction and ejection. So this again is just a gun that came out. It's a standard retail gun. Nobody knew that they were giving it to somebody who might review it. First of all, history of that Browning High Power. Wikipedia has a great article. You don't need me to tell you the history of this gun. And every other person that does a video seems to want to give you the history of it. So you know what, you can go ahead and look at those. I really don't think it's important for me to, to rehash that. My initial feelings about the gun, I wish it had come with more than one magazine. So there's that. But beyond that, I'm pretty impressed, honestly. It has what seems like a really good slide to frame finish. There is just the slightest amount of wiggle room, which is not at all a knock. A firearm of this type, a military grade firearm, should have a little bit of room to operate in adverse conditions. Okay. Much has been made of the fact that the trigger is better on this gun than the traditional high power. By the way, just so you know, my first handgun ever, 40, maybe 35 years ago, was a Browning high power. And so I do have a little bit of experience with the platform. You can find this out again a lot of different places. One of the reasons why the trigger, the trigger pull on the Browning high power was always considered less than stellar is because the original design had a magazine disconnect. That magazine disconnect actually worked alongside and interacted with the trigger and provided for a not great trigger pull. This gun is designed by Springfield. They have eliminated the magazine disconnect. You can see no magazine, safety is off, and we do in fact get the hammer to fall. So I really like the trigger pull, and it does have a little bit of travel before the wall. From there, it breaks with just a tiny bit of travel. There is maybe a millimeter of travel, and you can definitely feel where there might be some improvement available if you're worried about target shooting or whatever. But again, not a big deal. After we let the hammer drop, if we go ahead and we replicate the firing cycle and we look at what the reset is the reset again match grade? No. It does come forward probably about, 3.5, 4 millimeters. And then you get almost a, not a very tactile, not a very audible reset. But again, I don't know that that's really all that important in a firearm that you're going to use for range days, for self-defense, certainly concealed carry. I think we'll find in practice that all those things are something that you can over focus on, right? In terms of, but again, if that's your thing, there are great gunsmiths out there that can correct that for you. I don't think it's a ding on a firearm, all steel, forged, no MIM parts, made in the USA with an MSRP of $699. Again, as far as fit and finish, I think it's really good. I did see some pictures on a website that showed like a lot of horrible tool marks in here. I really don't see anything that is not, sort of pleasing to the eye. I really like the sights. They have that dot in the U notch there. I think they've done a really good job with it. I wish it had an ambidextrous safety because I am a left-handed shooter, for pistols at least. But that is the one modification I'm going to make on this. This is getting sent to Cylinder and Slide for them to put their ambidextrous safety on it. But beyond that, I'm not going to do any other modifications until we get, until I get a number of rounds to the gun and decide if any are appropriate. But also, I figured since I was going to do this little sort of video series about the gun, that it made sense to give people an accurate representation of the gun over time in the hands of an owner and a user who's really going to spend time with it and treat it as their gun. So cleaning it and maintaining it regularly, but not excessively, and just seeing what happens and what doesn't. I can make this promise to you. The promise is that I am not going to sugarcoat anything. These are my dollars that I spent on this pistol, and if it winds up sucking, I'm going to let you just know that it sucks. If it winds up awesome, I'm going to let you know that it's awesome. One thing that did come out with some of the earlier guns is that apparently with the hammer locked back, the safety can in fact go up as designed into this notch, which then prevents the slide from reciprocating. Great. However, some people were saying that with the hammer down, that this slide lever, or the safety, I should say, had enough travel to go up and lock the gun. Now you can see that there is in fact a small amount of movement that is being allowed there. Okay, but if I push this up as hard as I can, and I reciprocate that slide, in fact, it goes back and forth without a problem. So at least in this gun, this mid 3500 or mid 3000s serial number, it seems as though on this one gun, one production gun, sold at a retail shop, that is not a problem. So with that, I'm just going to say thanks for your time, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of this gun. You're going to be seeing a lot more of me shooting it. I do have some other magazines on the way. It's kind of a bummer to have to stop and reload your magazine every 15 rounds. So once those get here, we'll go ahead and do some more shooting, and then hopefully we'll be able to incorporate some shooting videos along with you listening to me, prattle on. So, Browning High Power, or at least Springfield's iteration or copy of it. Overall, as I said, I'm pretty impressed. Everything looks really good. The fit and finish and the overall quality of everything that I'm seeing looks pretty dynamite, including the fact that they have gone ahead and did what Browning didn't do for many years and corrected their feed ramp. So with that, thanks so much, and we'll be talking to you more about the Springfield SA35. Have a great day.